compassion and mercy and continue to keep Michael Savage on a list with known murderers and terrorists when, in fact, I did absolutely no crime. I committed no crime. Remember that. It gets even worse. In the memos that are disclosed in my new book, Banned in Britain, we found the following from December 9th, 2008, and you don't know about this. Quote, option of disclosure, number 6. Savage will not be notified of his exclusion. Let me repeat that. Savage will not be notified of his exclusion because his exact whereabouts are unknown. Now, I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, they say that I have the third largest show in America. I reach 8 to 10 million listeners. I've written 25 books, 4, 5, 6 bestsellers, and the very government that knows so much about me that they want me to not come on their sacred soil, they can't find my whereabouts. They don't know where my syndicator is. They have no idea where any of my radio stations are. No, my friends, they didn't notify me of my exclusion in advance because they knew I would have objected and that I was not guilty. They knew that had they met me in any way, even in the mail, I would have said, now, wait a minute, this is wrong. You made a mistake here. These are not correct quotes. You are condemning me because elements within the American government sent you outtakes in order to destroy a conservative. Don't you understand that? This has the hands of the Democrats all over it. That's my opinion. We can't prove it yet. But the longer this goes on and the deeper we get into discovery, my suspicion is the oily tracks will run right into the Democrat Party or one of their front groups, of which there are many. And God forbid this turns out to be true for them. That's all I can say, because I will pursue them to the ends of the earth in the courts. They go on to say, issue whether to exclude Savage from the UK on grounds of unacceptable behavior. Now, let me stop there again. Unacceptable behavior. To the British, unacceptable behavior is speech. Speech is now unacceptable behavior, particularly conservative nationalist speech. Now, there are no concentration camps or gulags in England, but there are thought police with unprecedented powers to dictate what people shall think and what people shall say. Nikolai Bukharin claimed that one of the Bolshevik Revolution's principal tasks was to, quote, alter people's psychology. Bukharin, one of the founders of the Bolshevik Revolution, the Communist Revolution in Russia, said that one of the principal tasks of the revolution was, quote, to alter people's psychology. Now, you know that the Democrats are trying to alter your psychology. You know that the British are altering the people's psychology to the point that they won't even be able to defend themselves. You know that the government moved ahead to criminalize politically incorrect jokes. You know that there have been draconian punishments, including the arrest and criminal prosecution of even children for thought crimes and offenses against political correctness in the new Britain. I can give you one case after another. In September of 2006, a 14-year-old schoolgirl, Cody Stott, asked a teacher if she could sit with another group to do a science project, as all the girls with her spoke only Urdu. The teacher's first response, according to the child, was to scream at her, "It's racist! You're going to get done by the police!" said the teacher. Upset and terrified, the schoolgirl went outside to calm down. The British teacher called the police, and a few days later, presumably after officialdom had thought the matter over, she was arrested and taken to a police station where she was fingerprinted and photographed. According to her mother, this child was placed in a bare cell for 3.5 hours. She was questioned on suspicion of committing a racial public order offense and then released without charge. That's the Britain of compassion and mercy? No, that's the Britain of the new Bolsheviks. That is the Britain that took Michael Savage, white male conservative from America, honored broadcaster, loved by millions of ordinary American people, and said that because he believes, amongst other things, he said, we have to, quote, take back our borders, our language, and our traditional culture from the left, corroding our great nation, close quote. For those reasons, he will be considered banned in Britain. Ladies and gentlemen of the Savage jury, I ask you to go to my website and look at the defamation letter filed yesterday, the new one, to Jackie Smith. We act for Michael Savage. We wrote to you on 15th of May in your capacity as Home Secretary. Blah, 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 blah. Our client is a citizen of the United States of America. He is under the name Michael Savage, the host of the successful radio program, The Savage Nation, syndicated across America by Talk Radio Network, and also a successful author on contemporary American politics and mores. Now, let's stop for a minute. They could have reached me through Talk Radio Network. They could have reached me through any one of 350 stations. They could have reached me through my publishers, but they chose not to. They said they will not notify me because his exact whereabouts are unknown. They're liars. They're deceptive, aren't they? The press release that they put out, my lawyer says, contains statements that are false and defamatory of our client. Please treat this letter as a letter of claim under the pre-action protocol for defamation. We attach for your convenience a copy of your press release. The press release constituted a page headed Promoters of Hatred, Named and Shamed, and a further page of the list headed Home Office Name Hate Promoters Excluded from the UK, listing various individuals who had been banned from entering the UK. The list included several individuals who were accused of terrorism, and then stated as follows in respect of Michael Savage, quote, controversial daily radio host, considered to be engaging in unacceptable behavior by seeking to provoke others to serious criminal acts and fostering hatred, which might lead to intercommunity violence. Now, let me pause right there. By that definition, anybody could be banned from Britain for anything. Any liberal could be banned from Britain should a conservative government take over. And believe me, a conservative government will take over next May. These bums will be thrown out next May. Now, if this list were to stay, any liberal member of the Obama administration who has come out against anyone who opposed Obama and called him a racist could, by definition, be seen as provoking others to foster hatred and could lead to intercommunity violence. Anybody who attended a town hall meeting in the United States of America and spoke out as a free American citizen to all Inspector, Barbara Boxer, you name it, could be seen as provoking intercommunity violence. For that matter, the senators and the congressmen themselves could be seen as fostering hatred, which might lead to intercommunity violence. In fact, the hatred fostered by the liberal fascists in this country have led to intercommunity anger, but not yet to intercommunity violence. My point is, though, that by this broad definition, this fascistic definition, this large basket, this large net, anybody could be named and shamed by Britain and excluded. In addition, my lawyer says, the first page stated that those who have been banned included, quote, controversial daily radio host who provoked others to commit crimes, close quote. Given that our client was the only radio host to appear on the list, this statement would evidently be taken to relate to him. These statements would, taken together, be understood by readers of the press release to mean that our client has sought to provoke others to commit serious criminal acts and who has on more than one occasion in fact provoked others to commit criminal acts. The press release was also published and continues to be published on the Home Office website, in both the news and press release sections, and on the UK Border Agency website. He then goes on to say the allegations are entirely false. At no time has our client provoked or sought to provoke others to commit crimes or serious criminal acts. Well, that's a truism. Are my words criminal? Are there liberals listening to this show who think that my words are criminal? If you say that, and I'm sure some of you would say that, I want to remind you to be very careful what you say, because you now are becoming a fascist. You're now saying you don't believe in the First Amendment. You're now saying you believe in censorship. You're now saying you believe in exclusion. You're now saying you believe in closing borders. You now say you believe that you shall have the sole right to determine what is fair and what is unfair. Be very careful, because you're soon going to find out that you're not the good person you think you are. You are, in fact, the very worst person you've always feared your entire life. And let me bring it back to Lockerbie and the bomber. Scottish Justice Senator Kenny McCaskill explains why the Lockerbie bomber was released. Listen to clip. Let's do the number 2.
Our justice system demands that judgment be imposed, but compassion be available. Our beliefs dictate that justice be served, but mercy be shown. Compassion and mercy are about upholding the beliefs that we seek to live by, remaining true to our values as a people, no matter the severity of the provocation or the atrocity perpetrated.
Regardless of the provocation or the atrocity perpetrated, they believe in compassion and mercy. Then why doesn't it apply to me? My friends, it has nothing to do with compassion and mercy. It has to do with cowardice and fear. They fear the radical Muslims in their own homeland. They fear what will happen to them if they continue to show any guts, any true grit. And so instead of closing their nation to the true enemies, instead of giving the death sentence to their true enemies, they give a sentence that may as well be a death sentence to a man whose politics they disagree with. If they could, they probably would give me the death penalty. But I want to remind you of the following. I want to remind you that my lawyer has put on record the following. Quote, their own researchers, their own emails say the following. Page 2. They found in page 2, quote, now this is quoting their own emails.